Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we have started the static part of various topics and we have covered till physics and we were discussing about the chemistry in the previous lecture. So in this lecture, we are also going to start with the chemistry, but we will try to cover up the biology and will end up the static part of general science. Okay, so let's start the session. So first we are going to talk about the organic acid. But before this, we must learn about the acid. So basically, acid is sour in taste. Okay. Acid is sour in taste and turn blue litmus into red. Right? That what we had discussed in our previous lecture. Also, we have discussed some concept like Arrhenius concept. Okay. Like Laurie and Bronsted concept and like Lewis concept. We had discussed these concepts. Okay. So what were these concepts? Basically, if we talk about the Arrhenius concept, then it is the H2 ions. Okay. It says that in the aqueous solution, the acid will always make a H2 ions. Okay. According to the Laurie and Bronsted concept, acid donate protons. Okay. And as per the Lewis concept, acids accept electrons. Okay. These were the concepts which we had discussed in our previous lecture. So here we have taken a quick view. Okay. And if we are talking about the acids, then I think that we must be talking about the base. So the base is bitter in taste. Okay. And it turn red litmus into blue litmus. All right. And as per the Arrhenius concept, Laurie Bronsted concept and Lewis concept, as per the Arrhenius concept, it make OH minus ions. All right. As per Laurie Bronsted concept, they accept protons. As per Lewis concept, they donate protons. All right. Sorry, donate electrons. Okay. That what we have discussed in the previous lectures. All right. So basically, I hope that you have get a quick view of the previous topics. So you can say acid is divided into two forms. Organic and inorganic. Organics are basically the natural occurring acids. Inorganics are basically the artificial, or you can say the man-made acids. All right. So now we are going to discuss about them in detail. Okay. So first we are going to cover the organic acid. So it starts with the lactic acid, which is found in the sour milk with the general formula of C2H4OH. Okay, it's a general formula of lactic acid. Thereafter, acetic acid, also known as ethanoic acid. And if you know the nickname I had told you in the previous lecture, so this is also known as, again I'm providing you 10 seconds to think about it. Time starts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Time's up. Also known as glaciated acid. Why? because it goes frozen at lower temperatures generally. Okay, so that's why it is also known as glaciated acid. Okay, thereafter we have the citric acid, which generally found in the citrus fruit like lemon, lime, and orange, with a general formula of C6H8O7. All right. Thereafter we have tartaric acid found in grapes, tamarinds, pineapples, with the general formula of C4H6O6. Thereafter, we have the formic acid, which is found in ant venom, with general formula of HCO2H. All right. So here we have taken a look on some organic acids. All right. Thereafter, now we are going to discuss about the inorganic acids. First one is a nitric acid, basically used for the production of fertilizers, or you can say ammonium nitrate. All right. Sulfuric acid as an electrolyte and lead acid batteries. Okay. Carbonic acid, basically used for making of soft drinks and other bubbly drinks. Thereafter, the boric acid, antiseptic and eye wash. Hydrochloric acid, pickling of steel, and phosphoric acid used in beverages to give a tangy taste. All right. So these are the some inorganic acids. All right. Now we are going to discuss about the atom. So if we start the discussion of atom, let we have a little bit revision of it. Atom is basically the smallest unit of every matter. Okay. Atom is basically the smallest unit of every matter. Got it? Whether it's a solid, liquid, and gases, atom is the smallest unit. Okay. And the first person who discussed about atom was Democritus. He was the Greek scholar. He was the first person who made a discussion over the atom. Okay. But thereafter, the person who arrived with basic concept of atom was who gave atomic structure theory for the first time. And his name was, who was the first person to do this? I'm asking the question. I'm providing you 10 seconds to think about it. Time starts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He was the person John Dalton. All right. So John Dalton was a person who gave atomic structure theory. And as per his theory, what were the 4 main points? First is they are the smallest unit and tiny invisible items. Okay. Thereafter, he said all atoms are same in shape and size within the same element. Okay. Thereafter, all atoms are different in shape and size in other elements. Okay. And the fourth point is they couldn't be created or destroyed. Okay, so these were the main points provided by John Dalton. Okay, but what he said they are the indivisible. Indivisible. They could not be divided further, but we know that atoms were divided further in protons, neutrons, and electrons. So it is the major comeback of this theory. All right, drawback, sorry. Okay, so basically we talk about the atom. Then atom is consisting of nucleus at the center, then shells and orbits in which various electrons revolving. Okay, so these green parts are the electrons revolving around the center, and the center comprise nucleus and protons, right? And if we talk about the three major atomic models which we had discussed in the previous video, then first one is our plum pudding model, also known as water melon model. So who was the profounder of this model? So profounder was J.J. Thomson. And what was the plum pudding model? He said that atom looks like this, in which the empty area or the entire area is a positive field, in which the negative electrons are suspended like this. Okay, so it was his idea which was failed because he could not explain how these electrons are suspending in the positive field. Okay, thereafter another person came whose name was Rutherford. He said it is the nucleus. There are the electrons revolving around it. But he was failed because he could not explain how the electrons revolving, and if they are revolving, then after some time they will be crashed with nucleus, but generally it is not happening. So it was the question which he couldn't explain. Thereafter his model was also rejected. These points I have already told you in the previous lecture. I am just reminding you these points. Okay, then the another person came whose name was Niels Bohr. Okay, so Niels Bohr said basically there are the particular orbits in which these electrons are revolving. That's why they are not going to clash with the nucleus. Okay, and the nucleus carrying the neutrons and protons. Okay, so that's about the various atomic models we had discussed. All right, now let's move forward. Now we have the protons, which are the positive particles and discovered by Rutherford. Okay. Thereafter, we have electrons, which are the negative part and discovered by J.J. Thomson. Then we have the neutrons, which are of the neutral charge. Okay. Here, one thing extra, which I would like to tell you. Like if we talk about the protons, then basically they were discovered by Goldstein. Okay. Goldstein discovered them, but name was given by Rutherford, basically. If we talk about the electrons, then J.J. Thomson discovered it, but name was given by Stanley. All right. These things I had already told you in the previous lecture. Now let's move forward. The father of predictable is Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev, based on the increasing atomic mass. Okay. And the another person who propounded the modern periodic table, his name was Moseley, or you can say Henry Moseley, based on increasing atomic number. All right. Ion is a charged particle. Cation is a positive charge ion. Ion is divided into two parts, cation and anion. So the cation is a positive part, anion is a negative part. Okay, as I have told you. Thereafter, the molecular mass, sum of the atomic mass of the atoms in a molecule. Okay, Avogadro constant, it's basically a number, you must be aware about it. All right. Thereafter, laws of conservation of mass was given by Lavoisier. Okay. Number of electrons in a shell, formula was given by Niels Bohr. Valence electrons is the outermost electron, it's the electrons in the outermost shell, and they should be 8 electrons for the stability. Okay, this is also I have told you in the previous lecture. All right, and law of conservation mass, along with there is also a law of definite proportion, which was given by Joseph Proust. All right. The atomic number is the total number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom, denoted by 2. Okay. Mass number, sum of the total of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus, denoted by A. Okay. The isotopes, atoms having the same atomic number but same mass number. Okay, there is one problem here. Just correct it. It is the different mass number. So the atoms which having the same atomic number but different mass number, they are the isotopes. Atoms having the different mass number but different atomic number but same mass numbers are isobars. Okay, they have the combination reaction where two or more substances react to form a single product is a combination reactions, and we had discussed it in the previous lecture in the depth form. All right, decomposition reaction, when single reactants break down into similar products, is a decomposition reaction. We had also discussed about it. Then oxidation, gain oxygen, reduction, loses oxygen. Okay, all these points we had discussed in the previous lecture, so I am not going to emphasize more on them, but I want you to revise the names. Okay, coal and petroleum, inexhaustible natural resources which present in an unlimited quantity and they could be used further, like sunlight and air. Exhaustible natural resources which are produced in the limited quantity. All right, now let's move forward. Now we are going to talk about the biology. So biology is basically the study of life. So again, we are going to discuss a topic where questions are directly asked. Okay, from where the questions are directly asked in the examination. So first we have the standards of health. So if we talk about the average human pulse rate, then it is the 72 pulse per minute. Okay. If we talk about the blood pressure, then it is the systolic and diastolic. Your systolic should be 120 mmGh and your systolic should be below than 120 mmGh and systolic should be below than the 80 mmGh. Okay. If we talk about the pH level of human blood, then it is 7.35 to 7.45. And we talk about the pH scale, then I had told you pH scale started from 1 to 14. Okay. Or having the middle value of 7. If the substance having the value more than 7, it is a basic. Having the value below than 7, it is a acidic. So if we looked at this picture, we will found that it is having the value more than the 7, then it is a basic. So you can say human blood is somewhat basic. If we talk about the eyesight, then it should be 6/6. Okay. If you are preparing for various government services and even the defense forces, then you must be aware about that. You will have a medical checkup in which you are required to having the eyesight is 6/6. Okay. Thereafter, now we have the hemoglobin level. Normal hemoglobin is basically the oxygen carrier. Okay. Like you must be aware about it. If this is your heart, okay, and the blood is coming in this heart and going from this heart. Blood is coming and going. So the blood which is coming to the heart is the deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood. And the blood which is coming out of your heart is a oxygenated blood. Okay. So how the oxygen is carried by this blood? Because of the hemoglobin. It is the oxygen carrier of your blood. Okay. So for male, it should be 13.8 to 17.2 gram per deciliter. Okay. For female, it should be 12 to 15 gram deciliter. If we talk about the body mass index, BMI, then it should be 20 to 25 below 20 underweight and 20 to 25 above 25 is a overweight. Okay. So this is about your body mass index. Thereafter, the average human body temperature, it is 37 degrees Celsius. Okay. It is the average human body temperature. So this is the certain pictures which we have discussed here. Now let's move forward. Now we are going to talk about the disorders. Okay. It is basically the diseases. Okay. So the first one we have is the Parkinson disease. It is a degenerative disorder of the central nervous system that impairs cognitive process. Okay. So you can say that Parkinson is basically the brain-related disease. Is basically the brain-related disease in which the personal mind is get hurted or the central nervous system of a person get hurted, that he is impairs his cognitive process. He could not process the information, he could not act to the information, and he behaves abnormal. Okay. Thereafter, the Alzheimer's disease, it is a form of dementia characterized by memory loss. Okay. Thereafter, we have the Down syndrome condition where extra genetic material causes delay in development of child growth. Okay. I don't know the exact name of the movie. It's Come of Amitabh Bachchan, maybe. Okay, in which this disease symptoms have been shared with you. Okay, thereafter the progeria, a condition where aging is manifested at an early age. Okay, basically you can say Amitabh Bachchan movie Pa was focused on this disease. Okay, progeria. Thereafter dyslexia. It is a reading disorder resulting from inability to process graphic symbols. Tare Zameen Par. If you must have watched this movie, then you remember that in this movie, the person whose name was Ishan, right? Whose name was Ishan Avasthi. He was unable to process the words on the blackboards and the books. Okay, so he was suffering the dyslexia. All right. Now let's move forward. Now we are going to discuss about the diseases transmitted by the animals. Dogs transmitted rabies. Mosquito, basically Anopheles genus, transmitted the malaria. Mosquito, Aedes aegypti, transferred the dengue. Poultry diseases are the bird flu. All right. So these are some of the main diseases transmitted by the animals. All right. Thereafter, another disease like fly, they causes sleeping sickness. Rodents, basically the rots, they causes leptospirosis. Pigs, they causes swine flu. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about the poisoning disease. Asbestosis is caused white lung disease. Okay. Silico dust causes silicosis. Iron dust causes sidrosis. All right. Thereafter, lead causes plumbism. Mercury causes minamata. Cadmium causes itai. All right. Disease affected by body part. Glaucoma affected eyes. Scurvy affected germs. Rickets affected bones. Malaria affected spleen, not sperm, spleen. It's spleen. Okay. So malaria affected spleen, and malaria is caused by Anopheles genesis. All right. And the mosquito which causes a dengue is a female mosquito, Aedes aegypti. All right. Now let's move forward. Typhoid basically damages the intestine. Gingivitis infects the gums. Jaundice infects the liver. Arthritis infects the joints. Leprosy infects the skin and peripheral nervous system. Psoriasis infects the skin. Diphtheria infects the respiratory tract. Colitis infects the colon. Tetanus infects the skeletal muscles. Okay. Thereafter, we are going to talk about the scientific name. Because of the languages, everything called by different names in different places. Okay. To avoid this type of issues and problems while coordinating internationally, or you can say international coordination, what we did, we made scientific name for various species so that these name would be same from different countries to different countries. Okay, these names will be same whether you are traveling to country A to B. These scientific names are same, so you can say the research and development and various scientific projects could be carry on easily. So humans are known as Homo sapiens. I have told you so many times. Animals known as Animalia. Plants known as Plantae. Banyan tree known as Ficus bengaloensis. Tobacco known as Nicotiana tobaccum. Tulsi known as Ocimum senectum. All right. Tulsi known as Ocimum senectum. So students, in this lecture, we have finished the static part of general science. In the next lecture, we will start with the environmental studies. Till then, I want you all to revise all the facts and figures we have discussed in this lecture so that you will be able to get a complete and effective overview of the topic. Okay, with this note, end this section and thank you.